I did email Lucy the link for the Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock. I did not email her this one because it's not, she didn't request for this one per se, so. All right. Sounds like we're ready to go.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Joey. Hi, Joey, Jack, Ed, Lindsay. The first item we're going to talk about tonight on the Finance Committee agenda is a discussion of insurance for the dog. The canine dog has arrived, and we have a proposal from Brown & Brown to insure the dog, and the cost to add the dog to our coverage is $100. And so that's not very bad at all. And I can also report to you that a donation was made to the borough to pay for that total premium. So at this time, the borough owes nothing for the insurance.
Is that for liability insurance?
Yes, it's liability insurance for the dog to be added to our policy.
That sounds extremely reasonable for a dog that might bite somebody.
Well, that's what I
That's
thought, considering that when we looked at this over a year ago, it was much higher than this.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
But,
what I thought it was going to be a whole lot higher than that.
Yeah, because the first time we told them it was a non-bite dog.
Right.
So see, we should have told them right up front the dog would bite. We would have got a better price.
I think all
But-
dogs bite dogs.
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't question, I didn't throw it up and say, hey, what about the price that we had, which was somewhere around $1,100.
Right. It's not enough.
We locked it in, they gave it to me in writing, and that was okay for me.
That's right.
The next item that we have to talk about is a request from the police department to purchase a bulletproof vest for Officer Brady. He will be graduating from the academy in August, at the end of August. And he needs to have a vest in accordance, well, just with department safety protocols, also in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement. You may ask, well, do we have any bulletproof vests that we could provide to him? We do, but the vests are sized to the officer and they must be fitted. So he will have to have a vest fitted. In the past, we have purchased the vest from Atlantic Tactical. They're located up in the Camp Hill area, New Cumberland, I believe. And the price is $915. When this came in, money is very tight. Scott and I talked about it, and we did move money onto our debit card. The money's available so that the department could go ahead, the chief could make this purchase. I'd just like to add, the chief has agreed to submit this vest to the Department of Justice. They have what's known as the Bulletproof Vest Grant Partnership. And we've been very lucky over the years to have bulletproof vests funded through that program. So we're going to try to get a reimbursement for this $915 if the chief is successful, as he has been in the past. I don't think we would get all of it back, but I think we would get about 80 or 90%. But it would be a
Better
help.
than nothing.
Does anybody have a question about the vest?
Yeah, so all officers are required to have vests?
According to our policy and procedures manual, as I know it, as I recall it, Jack, yes, you're to wear a vest when you're on duty, and the vest is to be furnished by the borough. The vest does have a lifespan. The Kevlar and the contents of the vest do have an active lifespan. So what we have been doing in the past is once we issue these to the officers, the chief pursues grant money every year and we rotate them out.
Mhm. Okay. And they have to be custom fitted, like they're not, Yeah.
Yes, this one, because it would be worn at all times, it's a custom fit. There are other vests that they sell that you could put on if you went into a situation, but I understand this vest will be worn by the officer at all times.
okay.
Any other questions about the vest? We have a request also from the police department to renew the annual subscription for a company known as PD Police Department Evidence LLC. And this is for an evidence management system. And it has a cost of $1,499, which was budgeted for. This service has been around maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, but it's relatively new. What I know about it is it, I believe, uses a program of barcoding to track evidence. And at some point in time, when the chief came to us, the department had received a mandate, as did all county police agencies, to come up with a program to handle evidence. And so the chief looked into this program. It was for the size of our department, it was the most cost effective. And we have been with this company since the inception of this program. That's about all I could tell you about it. I know the chief will join us later. And it is basically a program to handle the evidence of the police department.
What's the name of the company again?
PD Police Department Evidence LLC. P as in Paul, D as in Delta.
And how much was that for?
$1,499 even. And the company is based in Harrisburg.
Okay.
Any other questions about the bill?
No?
We have a notice from Southampton Township, which will be read tonight under correspondence. And the letter basically is asking the borough if it wishes to participate in the renewal of the 2021 trash and recycling contract, which is currently with Advanced Disposal. And I believe this was a 4 or 5 year contract. The borough has participated with Southampton Township since 2009 in this program. Prior to going with the township, the borough used private haulers. We had as many as 3 private haulers in the borough collecting waste. There was no recycling program at the time. And we also had 3 different collection days. So as you can imagine, you had trash out quite often in the borough. We had trucks running our streets and alleys. Now with Advanced Disposal, we have 1 collection day. We have 1 collection route. And we also have recycling, and we have bulk pickup. Recycling many years ago was at drop-off centers. There was no bulk pickup here in town. The only time we would have a bulk pickup is if the Borough Council sponsored a town cleanup. So I've put a memo together for you. It was sent out with the work session agenda for the July 7th meeting. And it goes into all of the details of the program, what the various options are for the Borough Council. And we won't go into that tonight because I know many of you have not had a chance to look at that memo. But please look it over. If you have questions, contact me. But I think what we will do after talking to Scott, we will discuss this, council will discuss this at the work session on July the 7th. Any questions on the notice from Southampton Township? I would just point out it is a time-sensitive notice and they would like us to respond by sometime in late July. But I think after we have the discussion on July the 7th, we can give direction back to the township. The next item we have is both Scott and I have been contacted by Pastor Chris Baylor. You may remember that name. He's from the Big Spring Heights Church of God. And in the past, his church has sponsored, along with a number of other churches from Newville, a program called Faith and Fun in the Park. and it was held every Friday from 10 to 1. It included activities for the children. It included a lunch and a time of fellowship. It was very well attended last year, and it's a very good program. We've always had good response back regarding this program. So I know Scott has a request from the pastor to once again utilize the park. When we were still meeting back in February, Ed, you may recall our Recreation Commission, and the pastor was at our meeting at that time. Our Recreation Commission agreed to a $500 donation to help this summer program. Now, we have, as you know, sold street signs and parking meters, and we had set that money aside in our account for Newville area events. And there is enough money in that account to sustain a $500 donation to the Big Spring Heights Church of God. So I know money is tight. We would not take this out of our general fund, but it could be taken out of our events account where there is money that's been set aside for summer recreation. Does anyone have any questions on the donation?
Was that budgeted for in the events account, or is that going to take from some other?
It was something that we, council actually approved several months ago, Jack. It came as a recommendation out of recreation. And so it was something that we were going to do in conjunction with our summer program.
Okay.
I think last year, Jack, I think we gave $250, if I recall, and the request was to double that this year. So that's where that came
We
from.
budgeted for it. It makes sense.
The next item is we do have a proposal. We discussed this at our special meeting a couple weeks ago for the Borough Park. Chamberlain Wingert came back with a price for a restroom and also a wash sink. And this includes the ability for people to wash their hands and sanitize their hands while they're at the park. They would rent this equipment, these two items of equipment, to the borough, and they would maintain them for a cost of $295 per month. And that would be for the months of June, July, and August, and possibly September if activities warrant. So at this point, we have given them authorization to bring the equipment in based upon our discussions at the special meeting. The problem is we do have a restroom facility down there, but when the restrooms are left open and unattended, we've had vandalism. And we've had activity in the restrooms that shouldn't be going on. So previous councils have instructed the restrooms to be closed unless there was an event at the park, meaning a baseball game. Kevin Yost has keys, he would open up. If there was a concert or something like that at the park, borough staff would open up and close. But when we've left the restrooms unattended and open, we've always had vandalism and significant vandalism.
Does that vandalism usually happen overnight, or?
Well, yes, it is. It's when, you know, it's just kids that are out to do mischief,
Yeah.
Scott. It's not.
I'm just wondering what's the possibility of putting a lock on the door that has a timer.
Well, we have
that at the trailhead,
We
right?
have at the trailhead, and they're pretty expensive. We had looked at that once before for that building. The problem is at the trailhead, where the timer is kept is in a mechanical room. So the timer, the box, the controller, everything, the power source is only accessible by the borough employees. And in those restrooms, there is no room. Plus, they're not entirely weatherproof. There's air and moisture that can get in because of the design of the restrooms, and they're not heated. And so when we've looked at that in the past, and Hilton's actually gave us some help on that. unless we could build a panel box or a room to safeguard the equipment and heat the restrooms, then we would probably have a problem with the malfunctioning of the lock mechanism.
Okay, and that was gonna be for the months of,
June, July, August, and September.
and the company was Wenger.
Chamberlain, Wingert. And we have been with them, oh, I guess maybe 2 or 3 years now. They've provided services to us.
And you're looking for action on that, right?
At the special meeting, we agreed to look into prices, so if we would confirm it tonight, I
Okay,
think that would be appropriate.
got it.
Any questions from council on that action? The
No.
next item we have is to discuss the closing of the tax bureau. And we had a report from our director of the Cumberland County Tax Bureau, Sue Pinty, who told us that the bureau was closed for 2 weeks due to a employee who had tested positive for the virus. And so on Wednesday of last week, the 24th, the bureau did reopen. It's been sanitized and functioning and open to the public. So our next scheduled disbursement of funds, EIT funds, would normally be on Friday the 3rd. But that day being a holiday and with so many being off work, I'm sure Sue is going to do it on the, make the disbursements to us on Monday, July the 6th. I gave Scott some numbers. We talked about some projections of revenues for the month of July. And I'll tell you that July is not a strong EIT month. Typically, we see only about $3,000. Now, what may change that is, this is the second time the Bureau has closed, and we might have some money lagging behind that would help our remittance this month from the Bureau. But at this point, I'm anticipating something in the range of $3,000 to $4,000, and that money would come to us on July the 6th. Any questions on EIT? I would like to give you an update from Jerry Ann Spangler, our tax collector. And she has given me a report, which is for the month of June. And I think in your packet, you had the May report. So I can give you the most accurate and up-to-date numbers. We have outstanding real estate taxes of $26,201.25. And we have also outstanding fire tax and street lighting tax of $334.09, making for a total of taxes outstanding $29,535.34. And we also have a good portion of our occupational assessment taxes still outstanding. As a matter of fact, probably over 90%. What's outstanding there is $6,830. Typically, that money comes into us in the fall. So what we have outstanding right now in taxes is $36,365.34. Is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? Well, we certainly would like to have it in our accounts right now. And normally we would have seen a lot of the tax money in our coffers by the end of July. But because the council extended the face payment period, residents are slow to pay their taxes now and probably will not do so until October or November. The good side to that is that will be a time when we will need every penny of that money. So the issue for us, and Scott and I talk about this all the time, And I'll just say it now, and I won't repeat it again tonight, because I know you're all tired of hearing it. The goal for us, the work for us is to get from the month of July through August. September is a good EIT month. With these taxes coming in, then I think we would be in a better position for the fall. So we have to conserve our money in the summer months. There are some things that I can tell you, I'm going to mention to you in a moment, that make it a little brighter for us. But that's the report from Jerry Ann Spangler, a total of $365 outstanding in taxes. We did receive a grant from Cumberland County for planning assistance, and that grant has been approved by the commissioners. The contract has come back. It's all signed. Tonight, we're going to approve an invoice. And once we have $12,622 of invoices accumulated, I have a form I can fill out, submit it to the county, and we will be reimbursed. The borough will be reimbursed $12,622. So tuck that number away, because by the time that comes in, it will probably be September. And so that money will be coming in at an opportune time. The next reimbursement that we can apply for legitimately will be for the tuition and travel and other costs associated with Officer Brady. And he will be graduating in the month of August. So we will be able to submit those funding requests to the Pennsylvania Municipal Police Officers Training Department. And hopefully we will have those monies back to us before the end of the year. That could be substantial. That will be about $16,000 or $17,000 that we will receive as a reimbursement for those funds. So if you can see here, we're putting money out at a difficult time. But so council members are aware, it will be coming back to you later in the year. I'm also happy to report, and Mrs. Deal made mention of this last month, our highway aid has been approved. I submitted our reports. They've been approved by finance at the Department of Transportation, and we should have a check coming for one grant in the amount of $36,000. And we have another grant pending for a like amount. And we do have funds on hand right now in highway aid of $5,000. So when we do receive our money, which should be sometime in the next week or two, that will put highway aid in a position where we'll have about $41,000. Why is that important? Well, that money can be used to pay for Department of Public Works activities and bills that are normally right now being paid for out of general fund. So having that money come into our highway aid fund will relieve general fund of some obligations. Not only that, but it will put our highway aid money in good shape as we head into the winter months. If we should have, heavy snow or we need to buy salt, it's coming at a good time. So we have that to be thankful for as well. And the last item I want to make you aware of, you've heard us talking about it. I know Scott has mentioned it to you in updates, and I have talked about it, but it is finally a reality. It is here, and that is the Cumberland County COVID-19 block grant monies. They were announced today by our County Planning Director, Kirk Stoner, and a total of $23 million is available to us. I've talked to Kirk twice today about this money, and I'm happy to tell you that there's going to be a committee of county department heads that will be reviewing these applications. The county has also hired a gentleman who is going to be the county COVID-19 coordinator. All of this is going to move at an extremely fast pace. So all the work that this borough has done over the last 2 or 3 months preparing is now going to pay off. The announcement, formal announcement of the grant will be made next week. The county will then open a website to take applications. I have sent you all an email today. Take a look at it. All the details are there about the program. But I'll quickly tell you that we can apply for the cost of our police department, Officer Keller and Officer Gutschall, to enforce the stay-at-home orders when the mayor declared the health emergency. When they went around and checked businesses for non-essential business openings, all that time can be claimed. Their time doing welfare checks, responding to citizen inquiries, and also there was an upswing in domestic incidents. And so anytime something like that happens that could be attributed to the virus, those hours can also be recovered. Not only would we get the salary, we will also get the benefits of these officers. The salary and benefits of Officer Brady, when the Harrisburg Academy closed, he went to work and actually did ride-alongs with our police department to gain experience. And so now we will be able to claim all of his time and get that reimbursed 100%. All of the time that's being spent by our Department of Public Works employees doing cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing at our trailhead and community park, this time can also be claimed. Traffic control services that we've been providing at the food bank, along with transportation of food supplies, that can all be reimbursed. The salary and benefits of all the administrative employees who have worked, my time in meeting with the department heads, our time in preparing postings to the website, Facebook, the welfare checks that the staff had made, any time that we spent in ordering supplies and PPE equipment is eligible for reimbursement. We can also claim all the costs associated with that personal protective equipment. We can claim the modifications that were made to the borough office. We can claim the spray equipment that was bought for the fire company and the ambulance and the police department, along with those chemicals. We can claim all the signs that were placed at the park. And we can claim our legal expenses. We receive updates from Salzman Hughes, and those were paid for by the authority. And those updates were several $100s. On the side of the Economic Development Authority, all the work that we've spent the last few weeks meeting every Friday, all those hours preparing a recovery plan are 100% reimbursable as a planning expense. So that is extremely good news because that will help us get our money back that we've used to pay for the startup of our EDA. So, it's hard for me to put a number on all this right now, but I think we're looking at, something in the range of $25,000 to $30,000. We're going to go after every dollar we can, obviously, but I think that's what we're looking at, something in that range right now for the general fund. On the Economic Development Authority side, they are going to do their own application. And they're going to request $50,000 to help pay for Mr. Galata's salary, Mr. McKnight's salary, and also the engineer's salary. So there will be 2 applications submitted here. One will help the borough to recover funds. The other will be to help start up our Economic Development Authority. We've been working, Cheryl has put together spreadsheets on a weekly basis. She updates the payroll expenses of our employees, makes copies of timesheets, makes copies of day sheets. So all this work that other municipalities are going to just start now to assemble, we've got it pretty much together. And so we'll draw our application together, make copies of all of our invoices, and we'll submit and see what happens. But this is good news. This is it should make us all, makes me feel better that we have an opportunity to recover our cost and hopefully put our bank accounts in better shape.
I
Any
think we
questions?
should, no, I don't have a question, but I just have a statement. I think we should thank you, Fred, for doing your due diligence and, keeping on top of, all the different forms and grants and, things that you wouldn't have to be doing right now, but you did them ahead of time so that we make profit from it. So thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
Thanks, Joey. But,
Yeah, great.
everybody on this borough council has been working, all of you have been working since March 9th. I've got a binder here. I've kept all these documents together. Two things I want to do with that binder. One day, get it off my desk. And I want to give it to the Historical Society, because I think people in the future can look back at this and they can look at the borough council and the people who were here and they can say, those people didn't sit around. They were trying to do something or trying to do the right thing. There's, you're popular and unpopular at different times. And it seems like no matter what you do in this pandemic, you're unpopular. But Newville Borough Council, everyone on the council has done their part to help this town recover. And it's not one person, and I say that all the time. It's all of us, it's all of you, it's everybody that works together, our staff, our employees. And now we're in a position to execute and we can do our grant application. And so let's keep our fingers crossed that we get our money, that things begin to get better as we go into the fall, that there's a virus solution, and hopefully this is behind us.
Yeah, well, I'll just echo what Joey said. You've shown great leadership on this, Fred. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, one bill item that I'd like to call to your attention, and I told Scott, we would discuss all the bills that come in so that you know what's going on. And we have a bill here from L&N Automotive, which is down on North Corporation Street. It's the garage owned by Laverne Newswanger. And the chief has taken the patrol car, the 2013 Ford, down. It needed some work. It needed brakes, rotors, state inspection, oil change, 2 control arm bushings and labor, and tire rotation. So the vehicle's been serviced and repaired and inspected, and the cost was $687.14 for that work. Now, it's my understanding from the chief that he's going to be taking the patrol cars to this station in town for repairs. And I know when Mr. Fry was on the board, Joey, and you may recall this, that the Borough Council did approach L&N Automotive because the owner is a taxpayer and he's a water and sewer customer,
Right.
but he could not give us preferential service for our patrol cars. Not that we were looking for a price break, but
Right.
what we were looking for is if a car breaks down, can you repair it quickly? And at that time, he was getting his business together and he said, truthfully, no, there would be a waiting period. And now he's in a position where he can respond better to the needs of the police department. So I understand you can talk to the chief and the mayor more tonight, but I understand that the service is going to go to L&N from here on out. Hip and Steels will still do the towing, and I think that's how we're going to proceed.
But Fred, this bill wasn't on the list of bills.
It was not on the list of
Okay.
bills, and that's why I would like to bring it up so we could get it paid.
And
Okay.
that was 687.14, right?
Yes.
Yes,
And do we have a particular fund we want that to come out of?
that will come out of the police department repair, vehicle maintenance and repair line item. Okay,
Yep.
Thank you.
okay, moving on to the financial reports. The balance in the general fund at the end of May was $59,337.02. And our rental fund, $6,203.22. Street lighting account, $12,688.68. fire tax, 54,587.90. In the general expense account, we have 1,737.06. In Newville area events, we have 3,911.40. In our highway aid account, we have 5,153.76. Payroll account has 10,719.51. In the police department accounts, the checking account at Belco, 6,358.56. In the K-9 account at Belco, there was 8,856.55, but I understand the second half of the payment for the K-9 dog was made, and so that balance has dropped. I think it might be as much as 4,000 that the account has dropped. The auxiliary police account has $271, and the debit card has $332.39. But as I said, we did move money onto that card so that if you approve the patrol vest, that could be purchased. In our pension plans, I'm happy to say that we are not seeing the losses that we have seen in the past month. We're down a little bit, but we're looking much better. So the police pension plan balance is $344,026, $344,026.85. And the non-uniform pension plan balance is $437,227.48. So I think at this time, everything that the folks at PSAB did represent to us was accurate. Their projections were accurate. And I would suggest to council that, you know, we could continue to look around and see if there's anything else out there that's better. But at this point in time, we are starting to make a recovery, and we're not sliding backward as we were in March and April. So there was improvement in May. In our capital improvement fund, we still have 1,466.89. I did not take anything out of that account for the park, only because our expenses down there were minimal, some signs and things like that. So I'm trying to hold on to that money in case we should need it anywhere else. Our tax anticipation loan payments, $3,749.36 is available in that account. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
No, it
On the
looks like
list.
the pension plans, the police pension plan went up 20,000 and the non-uniform went up 30,000. So 36 actually.
So who knows, maybe by the end of the year, we will have erased our losses, but we're on a good track, and I hope we continue that way. On the list of bills, we have a bill submitted by Mr. McKnight for his services to the Economic Development Authority. And this was basically the work he did complete in terms of the Department of State filings. His bill was $1,105. Also legal services to the Borough Council for the month of May, $1,192.50. DPW uniform rentals for the month of May, $192.78. Squarespace, we need to reimburse Tessa. She used her credit card to renew our Squarespace account for one more year. And this controls the borough website, $228.96. Higher Information Group, the copier surcharge for the borough and police copiers, $64.10. Higher Information Group, this is the printer contract that we have with a company. Basically, they connect to our printers. We have 3. They connect and can tell when our printers are low on ink, and they ship the ink and supplies to us. Cost is $105 for that service. Our lease payments for the copiers for the month, $269. M&T Insurance is the tax collector's bond for the year, $39. And the reason that's so low is we bid it with all the other municipalities and school districts. News Chronicle, we had 5 legal advertisements. They included ordinances and also special meeting notices, $302. Sailors Market bottled water and paper towels for the borough office and police station, $114.58. Salzman Hughes, these are the COVID-19 legal updates. They're very helpful. The total for the month of May was $111. The Galata Group, this includes all of Chris's services for April and May. He did not charge us anything in the month of March. So we owe Mr. Galata $2,227.50. And I know by the amount of work that he's done that amount that you see there before you has been reduced. So the total general fund bills, $5,951.42. We have no highway aid bills at this time. Questions on the bills?
Sure.
Moving forward, I think we should look at this maybe at our work session and talk a little bit more, but we should consider some sort of supplemental appropriation to the Economic Development Authority. When they met last week, and I don't want to go into a lot because I know Jack has a report on the activity, but they did approve opening a bank account, and we should put some money into that account. And my recommendation would be in the month of July that we deposit $2,500 into that account so that the authority has money to pay its bills and to continue to operate, because there are some good things that are starting to happen. You're going to hear that later.
Where's that money going to come from?
Right now, I would take it from our general fund, and that was one of the reasons I didn't touch capital reserve. I thought maybe I'd take 1,000 out of capital reserve. Okay, is Mike Crouch on? Mike joined us. I'll just let you know, and I'm sure he'll report. We had a meeting last week to start on the capital improvement plan. And it was a very good meeting. Mike brought all the department heads in. We had a good discussion. Everyone is very cognizant of the fact that money is tight. A lot of good ideas were put forth to save money, not just to spend, but to save. So I'll let Mike talk more about that. But the goal is to have a 5-year capital plan prepared for 2021 through 2025. So we're off to a very good start. You have received some notes from me on that program. Take a look at those notes. We will have more to report as time progresses on. Scott and I have been talking, and we would like you to all think about the budget. And it's not far away. Typically, we start preparing our budget in August. And so we have some challenges coming up that we need to overcome from this year. And we need to get the borough in good financial shape moving ahead for next year. One thing I can tell you is we did have a meeting with, or Scott, do you want to go into this? I don't want to. The fire company meeting that we had.
Oh, yeah. So we met with representatives from the fire company and the ambulance company as well regarding almost $14,000 in bills for the workers' comp. I think where they've settled is they realize that this needs to be paid, and I tried to emphasize the borough, we are certainly struggling at this time with everything that's going on, and we can no longer foot a bill of $14,000 for the organization. So I believe they've done their due diligence. They've looked into their options, and we've basically presented them with two options. They can continue to be on the borough's payroll and just reimburse us whatever that workers' comp and then any other claims that may come out of that. They could do that, or they can go out on their own and have payroll done by somebody else and that workers' comp insurance through somebody else as well, which is going to be extremely expensive for them because they wouldn't have any history. So I think what we need to do is we need to come up with an MOU so that way there's an understanding of this is, how it's going to be done moving forward. And we can put that, we're going to have that for the work session, right, Fred?
That's correct.
So.
Being drafted.
Yeah, so good conversations with the fire company and the ambulance company. I think they understand the situation. And, this is certainly something that's been going on for, 24, 25 years.
Yes.
That's a lot of money over the course of 24, 25 years. But unfortunately, at this point in time, it's just not something that we can continue to do as a borough.
There's one last thing I'd like to bring up to you. You've asked me to pursue grants and funding. The U.S. Department of Ag has a grant that's reopening. We have used this same program twice in the past. And we use it to fund patrol cars for our police department. Basically, it is a program where if we use the numbers from our last grant, we applied for 50,000 and we received 32,000 in the form of a low interest loan, which is about 2.5%. And the remainder of it, the 18,000 was a grant. So it was a 5-year loan. Our monthly payments are $570. We made every payment on time. We have a good history with the USDA. So we are reaching a point now where, some of our cars, one of our patrol cars is starting to get high mileage. Once we add the new officer, mileage will increase, and so will the cost of maintenance and repairs. So if you would like me to pursue a grant, we would probably not receive the funding until very late this year. More than likely, it would be early next year. To acquire a patrol car takes several months. And so there's an option there that you can apply. If you would like, we could apply for funding to help offset the cost of a police car, and that would also take some of the strain off our budget.
This would be for a new police car?
It would be a brand new police car. Yeah.
And we need one of those?
Well, the mileage on our patrol cars, Jack, we have one car that is about 78,000 miles. And once it gets into rotation with a new officer, it'll quickly move up to over 100,000 miles. Typically, we try to take the cars out of service not more than 120,000 miles. Sometimes we keep them. Most likely, we just simply sell them off.
Okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And that loan that you were talking about, Fred, that'll be paid off within the next few months, if I understand right.
Yes, that's correct.
And so there's a good chance where we can just, continue to keep it in that ballpark of what that loan was. We've been making those payments all along.
I think you're going to, there's good potential to see the payment even less than $570 a month because the interest rates have dropped, and we might even see more grant money due to the COVID-19 funds. So we might even get a better deal. I won't know until we submit and it's reviewed by USDA, but as I said, we have a lot of good things going in our favor with USDA. A couple months ago when the virus broke out, they called and asked if we wanted to take a deferment on the loan for 1 year. And I said, no, we were able to make our payments and we wanted to pay it off. And so we did not take a deferment, and we've never have on that loan for any reason. So we've got some good, credit history with USDA.
Do you feel like you need a motion tonight to go after that?
Well, I bring it up because, I've been reporting to you on all the activities that we can go after funding wise. And, this is one that has opened. It's one that we've used in the past. It is not a time-consuming application. You know, if you were to sit down, probably in 2 days, you could pull the application together and get it submitted. So
What's the name of that grant again?
USDA Rural Development, RURAL, Rural Development Program.
What's a new car likely to cost?
Jack, I don't have numbers on the SUVs. I've been looking at patrol cars and a Dodge Charger, rear wheel drive Charger is somewhere around 23,000. And I think the Ford Interceptors are about 25. Seems to me that the SUVs are up around 29, 30,000.
Do they have a preference for one or the other? Or?
Well, I think the officers like the SUVs. You know, you can ask the chief. I'll tell you this: the Dodge Charger that we had some motor work initially on it that was covered under warranty, but that Dodge Charger that we have is 10 years old, and it's still on the road. And the officer drives it every day to Harrisburg to the community college. So that Charger, you know, hasn't let us down. It's given good, reliable service. You know, one of the things that I would look at when you look at all these cars and the mileage of the cars, and the next car that's coming up on high mileage is the Charger. If we could look at something to purchase cars rather than SUVs, I think it would send a message to the public that, you know, being frugal with the money, and would also give the ability maybe to replace 2 cars. And that would put the police department in very good shape moving forward, especially with a new officer coming on board. You're going to find your mileage on these cars is really going to be much different having 4 officers working 8-hour shifts. The mileage is going to rack up on the cars. And so if there's an opportunity to get the vehicles covered under a grant right now with the COVID-19 monies and maybe a better rate and more grant money, I think that's worth looking into.
All right. Well, we probably should get ready to switch over to the other meeting. Just want to make sure I have everything here for tonight's meeting that we've added to the agenda. So approval of the PD evidence subscription of $14.99. Approval of the portable toilets, $295 a month for Chamberlain Wingert. We're going to approve the letter that's going to the county, state, and federal elected officials. That's in your packets, and everybody's received that a while ago. Approve 68714 to L&M Automotive. We really didn't talk about this, but I think we're good to send a donation check from the Newville Together yard signs to Neighbors in Christ out of the Newville event funds. I think, you know, Lindsay, we can probably figure out what that total is and go from there. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I can get I don't have it with me this evening. I'm not at work still, but I can definitely get that up to everyone tomorrow morning.
And then approve seeking grant funding through the USDA Rural Development Program. So that's what I've had to add. Am I missing anything?
Good.
All right. Well, let's switch ships here, and once I turn this one off and get switched, I'll be on the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you all in a bit.
Yeah.